You win some and you lose some. This is true for relationships. This is true for business. This is true for literally every single thing in life. You're not going to win every single time. You're not going to win every single game. Even if you're the best of the best. Even the best of the best players out there sometimes lose games. Sometimes you can lose and it's not even your fault. I think we all know this, but my point is don't be discouraged, especially when it comes to business, especially when it comes to women. If you end up having a bad experience, if you lose money, if you get rejected, do not be discouraged. And in fact, take the failure as a lesson on how to improve. So I'm going to give you an example of winning and losing in regards to business. So my first ever business was a mobile mechanic business. It did not last long. I learned a few things. I literally knew nothing about business at this time. I think I was doing the mobile mechanic thing probably for like 1 or 2 months before eventually I ran out of money, got like a regular job. And if I had just accepted defeat right there and said, oh, you know what, I tried to start a business before, it didn't work out, I would have not been where I'm at now. I could have just thrown in the towel and just took that bad experience and just said, you know what, starting a business is hard, I'm not going to do it. My second business actually failed as well. It was a cleaning business. It was a house cleaning business. Cleaning houses, cleaning Airbnbs, cleaning whatever. This business, I did actually last a little bit longer. I lasted about 9 months doing this. I was barely making any money. I was barely scraping by. It sucked. I had no employees. It was just me. I think a few times I brought like someone to help me here and there, but I just remember that it was rough. And that business, I had learned some lessons from the first business, right? So the cleaning jobs I was doing, I was actually getting consistent, but we entered a slow season and that's when I ran out of money. I basically had no savings. I had too many bills. So that ended up with me having to go work at fucking Walmart. So yeah, the second business failed. I had to go get a job at fucking Walmart. But I learned an important lesson from that business. So that business, looking back, failed because I was just fucking around, guys. I was still smoking weed. I was still jacking off. I was still partying. I was actually still drinking. I was playing video games literally like fucking 8 hours a day. So that business would have been successful if I was locked in, essentially. I could see it now. Like, taking the skills I have now and applying it to that business, I would have been fine. I would have grown it. I would have made money. But I hadn't learned those lessons yet. I was still addicted to substances. I was still watching the filthy videos. I was still focused on gaming. You know, I was just gaming all the time. I was smoking. I was staying up late. I was not putting in hours into the business. I was just kind of half-assing it, kind of just doing it, going home, just doing whatever I wanted. I would do very minimal things for the business, and I wasn't getting a good return because I wasn't putting in enough, so I wasn't getting enough back out of it. So that's another rule of business right there. What you put into your business is what you get out. If you put in very little, you won't get that much. If you put in a lot into your business, you invest lots of time, money, research, resources, lots of effort, you will get greater returns on your money. So just a little trick for you guys, free tip. Okay, so the house cleaning business. I go to Walmart. This is an important thing. So I could have thrown in the towel there. I could have said, you know what, I fucking tried it twice, and you know what, business ain't for me, right? I fucking tried twice. I went bankrupt basically both times. Fucking ran out of money. Had to go back to a wage cut job. But when I was at Walmart, I entered that job with the intent that the entire time in that job, I was going to save money. I was going to learn. I was going to quit the weed, the drinking, the filthy videos. I was going to get in shape. I had discovered this whole self-improvement space, which literally saved my life. All the self-improvement YouTubers out there and whatnot. So I made it my mission. I had identified the problem. I realized when I was back at Walmart, or when I was at Walmart, I was like, yo, I took accountability and I said, I ran out of money and the business failed because I was half-assing it. I wasn't 100% in the game. But I did survive for 9 months. So I proved to myself, okay, I did survive for 9 months off of that money. And I was making money. Not enough money, but I was making money. So if I can fix these problems and go back at it, I will make it. So I took everything I learned from that. I learned as much as I could about business at Walmart as possible. So I'm talking watching podcasts, watching other business owners sharing their stories, learning as much as I can, reading people's success stories, going from no money to making money, all that stuff. So I'm like, you know what? Like, there's all these other people doing it. There's no reason I can't do it. So that Walmart thing was needed. I needed that time. I took that time. I used it wisely. I made sure I was learning the entire time. I was improving. I was fixing the errors. And I knew, I was like, all right, I'm just here at Walmart. Walmart is a stepping stone to get to that next attempt at business, the third attempt. All right. So attempt number 3. By the way, before we get into this, I do have one-on-one coaching available. Go ahead and click the link in the description or the comments if you want some business advice, or if you need help, or if you're someone that's aspiring to be a business owner, you're in a similar position, you haven't done this before, or maybe you're struggling, or maybe you're lacking on your self-improvement. I would highly recommend you book a call with me, because I can definitely help you out. I've been through the same process literally multiple times in my life. I can help you out to get out of that rut, out of that dry spell, try to help figure out what's holding you back. So just book that call down below if you're really trying to get back on track and get on the right track. Okay, so attempt number 3. I start a office cleaning business, right? / detailing service. So I tried 2 different businesses at the same time. I saved up like $2 or $3 grand at Walmart, not even that much money. I had built up material supplies. I'm like, okay, this time I'm not going to clean houses, and I'm going to go for offices instead for the recurring revenue, right? Office cleaning, because you can clean an office repeatedly. It's the same process every single time. And then I started a detailing company to get money quick. So I'm talking, getting quick money, because office cleaning, I'm not going to lie to you guys, it's one of those businesses that's great, but it can take some time to get going, because it is like business to business. So you have to convince these businesses to use your service. It's not just like they're buying something that one time. It's, you have to make a contract with these people. They have to trust you, right? And it's really tough to get these kind of clients, because you really got to know what you're doing. Versus the detailing is just something you could do, right? The detailing is something you could get money that day. So I had the 2 engines. I had the office cleaning and I had the detailing. Believe it or not, so I remember that first month after leaving Walmart, right? Getting that money together. I remember the office cleaning was kind of slow. I did actually get my first contract, like the first month. I got a small office cleaning contract, very small, clean it twice a month. I was making like $400 something a month doing that. All right. I tried something called Google Ads. All right. I decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to run some Google Ads for the detailing, right? Yo, this shit changed my life. It literally changed my life. I remember I ran some Google Ads. I didn't even know it. I watched like a tutorial. I set up the Google Ads. I just linked it to the Google My Business. I put some pictures, whatever, right, for the detailing service. Boom. My phone is ringing. I'm getting hits. I'm getting people calling me. They need their vehicles detailed. They need this. They need that. They're literally paying. I remember I'm going out doing these detailing jobs. I'm getting jobs booked like almost every day. And not just that, these jobs, I'm literally charging like hundreds of dollars. I get to the point that first month where I'm making more in one day than I would make in 1 week working at Walmart. So I'm talking life-changing money. I'm making like $600 a day detailing. I would make like $500 or $600 on my check from Walmart, you know. So I literally go and I literally boost on my income like 5 or 6x by running Google ads. On top of that, I learned Facebook ads at this time. I run some Facebook ads. Holy cow, yo. That boosts me up even more, yo. I'm getting so many jobs. So much jobs that I can't even my schedule is so filled up. And I actually built this business up in less than a year to 6 figures. So I went from literally like $2,000. I think in the first year I made like $150,000 straight up. The second year I made $250,000 off of that. Now that's not just profit, right? This is just like gross revenue. Obviously I reinvested all the money back into other things, back into the company. I still take most of my money and I invest in learning, invest in advertising, buying equipment, whatever, right? I'm not just putting all this money in the bank. So I ain't rich yet, but I'm getting there. I'm on the way. I'm definitely on the way. So what does this story tell you? You win some and you lose some. Some of those businesses did not work out. I recently actually tried to start a business recently, a junk hauling service. A friend of mine convinced me to get into that. And we were seeing some minor success, but the cost to operate was just too high. And it just wasn't like my forte. So the junk hauling didn't actually last long. So yeah, I started a junk hauling business recently. And it took a shit. It completely failed. It was just too expensive. I didn't know what I was doing. So the junk hauling did not work out. But like I said, I have a successful business. It's making me money. I'm making a shit ton of money from it right now. I'm talking thousands and thousands of dollars every single week that I'm just putting in my pocket. I'm stacking so much cash right now. It's insane. I literally have saved so much money recently. And my office cleaning service is actually starting to take off as well. I actually have a walkthrough tomorrow, a new potential client, but you know, let's manifest positivity here. So, my advice, you win some and you lose some, especially when it comes to business. If you start a business and you fail, more than likely, the problem is you. You're the problem. You have to fix something within yourself to make that business successful. Once you fix yourself, it's going to make it a hell of a lot easier to be successful in your business, work for yourself, be your own boss. And like I said, book a one-on-one coaching call with me down below, because more likely than not, if you are struggling to start a business or if your business is struggling, more than likely it is something that you need to improve on. There's a problem you need to identify, and talking to an expert like me is going to help you identify that problem as fast as possible. So leave a comment, leave a like, share the video, ring the bell, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment if you guys want me to make a video about any other topics. I will see y'all in the next video.